Here's how the Boeing 737 MAX crisis highlights the problems with corporate America.
When a chunk of this Alaska airplane exploded outward 10 minutes after takeoff.
Some loose bolts on many of our MAX 9s.
Boeing admits for the first time that a faulty sensor may be to blame for 2 deadly crashes. 346 people were killed in the Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines crashes that happened 5 months apart.
Critics say all these issues go back to 1997, when the company merged with another airplane manufacturer, McDonnell Douglas. Since 1916, Boeing had been an engineering-focused company, designing, manufacturing, and selling airplanes. But problems followed because McDonnell Douglas was focused on making more money while Boeing's engineers were dedicated to their craft. McDonnell Douglas executives implemented measures to save money and get a better return, and the design and production process suffered. That was the approach that influenced the creation of Boeing's 737 MAX.
I've seen military operations shut down for a lot less. He said, well, the military is not a profit-making organization.
One thing Boeing did to try to cut costs was outsource 70% of the design, engineering, and manufacturing to 50 different partners. But there wasn't enough coordination between the different companies building the parts, causing design flaws and safety concerns. Before the 2 largest Boeing crashes, the company was competing with its rival Airbus, which had just designed a new engine. So Boeing designed a new engine too, to add to their existing planes. But because it was so big, it was causing the planes to tip upwards during takeoff, so they installed software to try to correct that. Investigations found that the 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019 were a result of that software system, MCAS. But Boeing blamed the pilots for the deaths of hundreds of passengers, even though it marketed the plane as almost the same as the previous generation. The training material didn't even mention the software, and pilots had raised concerns about the nose tipping down before the crashes. Those concerns were ignored, and the process to build that plane was rushed to beat out the competition. Ironically though, just last year, the company reported an operating loss of $3.2 billion. Boeing's story reminds me of Canadian law professor Joel Bakken's book and documentary film called The Corporation. Bakken argues that if corporations were people, they would be psychopaths because of their legal responsibility to maximize profits for shareholders. Corporations are seen as individuals under the law. They have all the same rights as humans, but they aren't equally responsible for their actions. So even if they're run by good, moral people, the corporation itself possesses traits akin to psychopaths: self-interest, lack of concern for others, disregard for the safety of others, deceitfulness, inability to take responsibility, and failure to conform to social norms. Essentially, Bakken argues that the structure of corporations forces them to be psychopaths. Boeing is far from the first example, and it definitely won't be the last. Bakken believes that the idea of the unregulated corporation must change because we are all victims of it.